fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day. Daydream, I dream of you amid the flowers.
So a couple of the modifications people would get would be just aftermarket kind of wheels and stuff, window tints, lip kits and stuff like that, spoilers, all just kind of body modifications and all, just for the looks. Not necessarily 100% going for a performance upgrade straight away, because that's where it gets costly and you need to know what you're doing. Nowadays it's a mix of like Japanese cars and German cars, but there's a lot of just diesel cars that go to car meets now, and it's just like lads that have a diesel car and have a sticker in their window and think that that's done up, you know. There is kind of still a big scene. It wouldn't be any, like I don't know from experience what it was like years ago, but it seemed a lot bigger and better years ago because they had influence from like the Fast and Furious movies coming out and stuff, and all the cars that people go mad for nowadays, like they were more available back then, but then they were just written off by young fellas driving them like recklessly and all, you know. Like definitely there is a decline in that.
My name's Nigel Maguire. I, along with friends and cousins and family, run this show. We're here since 2017, February 2017, so we're 7 years here this month. It's Cars and Coffee Northeast. It's just a place where people come and park up, have a coffee, have a chat and head off. We're here the first Sunday of every month. And yeah, it's just like-minded people.
It can be good sometimes, but like it draws a lot of negative attention, especially in some areas that they take place in. Like you get a lot of people that come down because they're like, oh, there's loads of people down here, there's no Garda yet, and then like they'll start lighting fires and stuff like that. Sometimes they'll like smash up cars and stuff. Okay. There'll be big groups of lads and stuff, like, especially in Damestown. Cars get danced on every weekend out there. It does get out of control, but like they can be good sometimes. It just depends where it is and who's there, really, you know.
We don't charge to come in, so we have a lease on the property and we have insurance to pay for. So we ask for a donation, and that covers the insurance for the event, for running the event. Cars, motorbikes, vans, you know, anything that's modified, unusual. It can be vintage, classic, sports cars, supercars, and modified. We have a great relationship here with the guards because unfortunately there is another scene arising. We don't tolerate messing down here. Like, it's cars and coffee. You park up, you have a coffee, and then you head off. Like,
when you get your car modified, are there any dangers?
Just depends who's doing it, really. You know, if they know what they're doing, then you're going to be safe. But if you go just pulling parts off the car and putting different parts on the car, you know, you could risk damaging like your engine or yourself. People that have studied them and that have done it a good few times beforehand, that know exactly what they're coming up against and stuff. The first stage of it would probably be cosmetic. You know, you're going for your car just to look more aggressive or something like that, or just the way you want it to look, and then you might start going for performance. You know, like you might start looking at stacking head gaskets or putting a turbo onto your car, something like that, bigger injectors, all that kind of stuff. The price of parts and labour has gone up, and like some of the parts that you might want to be getting for your car might not be available anymore. Just depends on the year of the car and stuff like that, you know. But it's a little bit like crazy right now when it comes to the price of things for cars. But there's a lot more modifications now that weren't around years ago. Like, I don't think remaps to the computer or the car were a big thing years ago, but like now that's what most people are getting their performance off, is actually telling the computer to dump more fuel to air in, rather than actually putting like bigger injectors or something like that into the engine. So you're just tricking the engine to run more powerful or something like that, you know. The more you get done, the more you're going to pay, the more labour, because like when you're putting bits off different cars and stuff together, like you're going to come to some conclusions when you're working on it, and you want to get paid well for it.
Yeah, look, just always been a passion of mine to, you know, work with JDM cars and stuff like that. And a friend of mine has owned a Super for the last 18 years. So he let me have a spin at there 5 or 6 years ago, and ever since then I just knew that the Super was going to be the car for me. I had a Celica as my last car, and then it was just a natural progression into that. I come here on a Sunday with the lads just to hang out with them and spend some time after work. And yeah, like it's really nice just to see all the car scene and people coming together as a community and stuff like that, and just enjoying the cars for what they are. Oh God, I don't want to say it on camera, but too much. That's what I spent on it. But look, people could be out there spending money on they could be spending money on that. They could be spending money on drink, alcohol, you know, drugs, whatever. But this is a drug for many people. And
does modifying cars promote unsafe driving?
Yeah, it does. There's no doubt that it promotes it because, you know, you want your car to be fucking loud when you get it done up, you know. You're going to drive it recklessly. If you have insurance on a car and you want to do stuff to it, you don't need to necessarily tell them unless you want to claim back all them. Like if you get into a crash or something and you're after putting loads of more money into your car, you want to get all the money that you've paid back. But like if you don't like want all that money back, then you can have the risk of just not putting it down in your insurance, which is what I'd say 90% of the people do. Like they're not going to look too much into what is added onto it, like regarding cosmetic stuff. Now if they hear that the car was travelling at like 160 mile an hour, they may be like, hold on, that car shouldn't go that fast, there's something up there, and they might investigate into it. It just depends what you do to it, you know. If you put a different engine into your car, then like your emissions test will be off because like it's set for that specific car. So if you're putting a different engine in it, it's going to read like higher or lower or whatever engine you're putting into it, like you'll fail on that. Or they might spot it and say, oh, that engine doesn't match up with the VIN number of the car or something like that, you know. They can cop onto certain things. It just depends on how far you go. I mean, I think it's important that our cars are roadworthy, but like none of those lads in that NCT centre are qualified mechanics. Like they couldn't do a service on a car, but they're telling you that your car is not roadworthy. So I think it's good to a certain extent. I got into it just purely from seeing it on like the TV, watching Top Gear and stuff like that. And my uncle was an auto electrician, and he had like 2 Honda Integras when I was growing up, and like I just fell in love with them. And I knew that no matter what kind of work it is with cars, that I always wanted to work on cars. So I just went for it, and now I'm going to get me qualification to be a full mechanic now. So
I was just think it's like a lifestyle for people.
Definitely. It's definitely something that people wake up, think about, and they go to bed, they think about it. In their sleep, they dream about it, you know. It's definitely something that take over your life. It's not, I don't think people grow out of it. I think people kind of, it lets people down sometimes. Like, cars can kind of break your heart as well, you know, especially when, because like there was a lot of theft with the cars back like 20 odd years ago, because they're all like Japanese imports and stuff, so they're really easy to take. So I think like people got their heart broke more than they just lost interest in it, you know. I think that's why they lose interest in it, is because they just get so like annoyed at it, because it's very unforgiving. A boy, right? I mean, well, like, I don't know if I'm a boy racer, you know. It's a Nissan Micra. I drive it like a boy racer now, but definitely I'm not like I wouldn't be the same type of person that was like years ago, you know.